Hello, people. Maybe sometime to you has used hinge joint to make door animations. For example, this to open one and interact with your character with the doors to open them. But the door started vibrating in some strange way. You should think that's because you don't configure in a good way the hinge joint properties here on the door. But that's maybe no is not true. Maybe if you are trying to change the anchor, I'm sorry, I don't know how to say that on English. Anchor, you can fix the problem, but sometimes, just as it happened to me recently, it's not that problem. Instead of that, is the hinge joint, the connected body, the part that doesn't move, the static part of the connection between rigid bodies. Remember, the hinge joint it's a component that lets you connect the rigid body of your game object with another rigid body. The, the other rigid body is the one representing the static part of the relation. It's the static object that doesn't move. And the one that is gonna move is where you put a the hinge joint component. So, what's the problem? Maybe had happened this to you. That it's suddenly starting to vibrate. That's because here you maybe hasn't found the right position of the static part of the hinge joint union, like this. And then when you click play, it started to vibrate. Sorry, it's not that. Let me see. Let me show you. Please wait a little. Oh, that's strange. Okay, it has been solved. I don't know why, but I'm trying to do this to show you. What? Okay, I don't know why this thing has solved itself, but the way to solve this is found the right position of the hinge of the joint of the static part of the union of the game object that it's static. You have to find the right position. I don't know why this solved itself. It shouldn't happen, but it's happening. I don't know why. But if sometimes the door is starting to vibrate and you change the properties here, maybe I only can think that what happened now, the solution was that the automatic configuration of the connection found the exact point that doesn't let the vibration effect that you don't want. So maybe that's the reason, because it doesn't start to vibrate. But for all people that has this problem, you have to solve it very simple. Change the position on the X, I, or C. I don't know how to say this character C, Zeta, is on Spanish, but I don't know how to say it on English. But that can solve the problem. I had to spend almost 24 hours trying to solve this problem here on the configuration of the hinge joint, and that was I changed the size, as you can see, the size and the scale of the door in order to know and even more the size of the box collider that is a type, in order to it not collide with any other part of this house as the floor of the walls. So I think I had think that it was that the problem, but not. It was the position of the hinge joint. And let me show you something in order to understand something very important to use hinge joint. Here, the hinge joint, the problem that I found, that I don't know why I can show you this to you. The problem is that the door tends to just follow the position of the hinge joint. Sorry, of the static part. The door followed that. See? If you have this, for example, this problem, the door is going to start vibrating right like this. And that's because even if your joint is in some part that doesn't collide itself with anything, the door has it's trying to follow it and start to collide with other parts of the house, and that make this vibration problem. So that's the idea. And remember something. The hinge joint had a pivot point. The animation here, if you can see, it starts rotating around this place, the start of the door, and not in the middle. That's because I have this property with this value, and anchor the anchor here. If I set it to 0 and then I change the target position, the target position is where the animation is gonna rotate, something like degree, as if you want. It's the way to explain this. It's like I'm sorry for the word. Okay, it's the angle. Just keep that. It's the angle 10. Let's see. It is starting to rotate on the middle because there is not offset on the anchor. If I set the anchor again at this point, that it's right here, see? The door rotates around this point. starting this point, instead in the middle of the door. Why I'm making this video is for all the people that want to solve this problem, and I need to make a tutorial for myself in the case that I forgot how to solve this. So thank you for watching this video. Sorry for my bad English, but I am trying to exercise this to become more fluently at the time of talking on English. And I'm learning and trying to make a more fluid conversation. So, thank you. If you wanna support me, please make a donation on PayPal or become a Patreon. The links are below on the description. So, thank you for watching this video. See you later and have a nice day. Ay,